Welcome back. I'm Adrienne, your expert on all things custom home building and luxury. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Tell a friend how much fun we have on the Fraser Homes channel. So I am here with Brandy McCaster to talk about change orders. Indeed, this is part 2 of change orders. You all saw on part 1 we talked about change orders are any deviation from the original scope. So things that are in specifications, if we are deviating from that, it will initiate a change order. A change order can be something very small, like we're changing paint colors, to we are changing rough openings in the framing package. And so Brandy, she built a custom home 3 years ago. And Brandy is going to talk to us about the change order process that she experienced while she was building. Welcome, Brandy.
Thank you, Adrienne. Glad to be back.
Yes, good to see you.
Thank you.
So, Brandy, change orders can be nightmares for both the builder and for the homeowner.
Absolutely.
Okay, so your build, how many change orders would you say you experienced?
I don't know. Maybe 15?
15. Okay. So, quite frankly, 15 change orders are nothing compared to what we've experienced. So, our highest number of change order on one given project, on any given project, was 152 changes. Yes, indeed, that happened. And so thank you, Brandy. We appreciate the fact that you have an understanding of how time consuming and costly change orders can be.
Yes.
But so why were you making change orders?
Well, again, so let me just kind of go back to what you said about the high number of change orders that you had versus the low number of change orders that I had. My number was lower because I was not building a fully custom home.
Okay.
So when you're building a fully custom home, there are a lot of details that might come to you later on that you didn't think about or you want to change. I wasn't fully custom. So some of my things were already kind of in place, and it just wasn't an opportunity to do a lot of the changes that I wanted to do because, again, I wasn't fully custom. Had I been fully custom, I would have had a lot more change orders.
Okay. So now thinking of that, as a builder, it is always our expectation and hope that we can nail down as much of the specifications straight away. So last time you were with us, you talked about how you wanted to design your closet a certain way. Mm-hmm. Did you know that at the time of the build, or did you discover that during the build?
I discovered it during the build that they did not support the vendor that I wanted to use. They did not have a relationship with this vendor.
Okay. But you already had in your mind the vision of the closet that you wanted.
Yes.
So for Fraser Homes, that would not necessitate a change order.
Correct.
If we already have it designed, what your closet is going to look like. You're going to have a 6-foot long island, and you're going to have a lot of LED lighting and all of these things because you're going to be showcasing your Birkins up top. Whatever your heart's desire, if you already have that kind of outlined and described in the specifications, that a change order wouldn't be necessary. The change order comes because you saw something on Pinterest while we're building and you've decided, oops, I did not put in the 6-foot long island. I would like for you to do that.
Absolutely.
Okay. So give me 2 or 3 of the change orders that you actually initiated.
One of the change orders was, I believe it was something as simple as lighting.
Okay.
We had a number of recessed lights in the basement, and then we felt like later on it wasn't enough. So we needed to put in a change order to have more recessed lighting added.
Okay, so that's a really good point. Did you have an electrical walkthrough?
Yes, and that is when we realized that it was not enough.
Okay. Okay, so you're doing your electrical walkthrough. We'll talk about an electrical walkthrough in another episode, but to just give you a little tidbit of what electrical walkthrough, when you're building a custom home or a fully custom home, you have the autonomy of how many can lights you're going to put in your ceiling, where you're going to put your switches, if you're going to have USBs, all of these things, if you're going to have floor outlets, thank you, floor outlets. And so you get to decide all of those things when you build custom and fully custom. When you build production and oftentimes semi-custom, it is already established. You will get 6 can lights. This switch will be here regardless if you're right-handed or left-handed. And so this is the reason why we're always talking about the difference and the benefits of going custom and particularly fully custom.
Yes.
So when you did the electrical walk, you found out that you needed some additional lighting in that basement area.
Correct.
Okay. And so what process did you follow to tell the builder this is what we needed?
Well, we had a discussion at the electrical walkthrough with the GC, and then we had to initiate the change order with the builder. I believe we had to do that on Builder Trend, and then you have to sign off on it. Every time you do a change order, there's an additional cost because you have to pay per change order, plus you have to add that additional cost of whatever you're adding on to your build.
Okay. So now we need to talk about at some point the difference between a construction loan. So people need to understand how the construction loan process works.
Yes.
And then if you are going to be a cash buyer.
Yes.
So in this instance, did you go through a construction loan or did you pay cash?
No, we had a traditional conventional loan.
Okay.
So no, we did not have a construction loan.
Okay, and so now in that instance where you made the change order, that was cash out of your pocket. It wasn't
Yes.
coming from the lending institution.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
Okay. So that may be another reason why individuals may be skinnying down on their change orders, because every time you have that change order, you're paying cash straight to the builder immediately upon the request.
Yes.
And so now your thinking is that if you had more autonomy during the schematic phases, then you wouldn't have had to have that change order in the first place?
I think that if you have a builder who is very proficient in building what makes sense, they can give you those ideas, like saying, hey, I don't think this is enough lighting down here. Did you talk about the floor outlets? Did you think about, you've got a kid who works on a computer all the time. Do you have USBs? Do you have enough shelving in your linen closet or things like that? So I think one of the biggest things that people need to do when they're building a house is slow down.
Okay.
And really, really look at the design. I mean, we had our blueprints. We looked at the design day in and day out. I still don't think we took enough time. I think we thought we knew what we were doing, and we did not. We did not. So I think that slowing down, understanding that this 2-year process really needs this full 2 years or whatever the timeline is that you're given, and use that time to really, really think about what you're building. I think we felt like we did our research because we would go to custom build walkthroughs. We would go to open houses. I would get ideas. I would say, hey, I think we want to do this. Let's find a house that has it. And we would, do all the things. But it's different when it's your own home. Mm-hmm. So I think slowing down the process and really thinking about, things that might come up later on in your life, and having a builder that can give you those ideas to say, hey, did you think about these, whatever it is, these things?
And that's a really good point, because as your builder, we are going to ask you questions about your lifestyle. We're going to ask you about your aspiration. We're going to ask you about transitioning. So are you thinking of staying in the local area, or will you relocate? If there is an opportunity for you to relocate, we might say, okay, this room needs to be a multi-purpose room because we have to have proper resale. So you'll remember in an episode before we talked about, okay, you're going to have this yoga room and that's fabulous, but we need to be able to convert it into a bedroom because now when it's time for resale, we don't want that to be a barrier for you moving on to your next project or your next goal for your life.
Absolutely.
And so as your builder, we are spending a lot of time getting to know you and your likes, what's important. And if your builder is not spending that time with you, to Brandy's point, and they're not slowing the process down, you're going to have some missed opportunities. Okay, so if the change orders were things related to lighting and decor, so it was nothing structural. Is that right?
We did some structural changes on the upstairs area that we were building for our son. We decided that we wanted to build a second owner's ensuite upstairs. Instead of just having one shared bathroom for him and his company, we decided to change his bedroom into an ensuite.
Okay. And so what was that process timeline?
Well, we had to redo our drawings, so that was an additional charge. We had to do the change order, so that probably took a couple weeks to kind of get that narrowed down.
Okay. So we find that a lot of the change orders for our projects, they do really come with the fit and finish. So that is, I have decided that I just have to have this Wolf appliance package. Where we have assigned maybe a Thermador package, you've decided that you want the Wolf package. And so those where a lot of our change orders fall within the allowance categories. And I think similarly situated builders would say the same thing. But with some of our more complex projects, there's a lot of framing, there's roof changes, and just like you mentioned, we're adding bonus rooms and offices and stuff like that. And because we're fully custom, we're going to give you exactly what you want. So Brandy, tell everybody again about slowing down and that if they want to avoid change orders, what they must do.
Right. So slowing down is major. And I also believe that educating yourself on materials will help out a lot. In the beginning, I knew I wanted a white brick house. Well, I learned later that there's a difference between painting brick on site and having brick delivered that is already white. So that was a huge learning curve for me. I wanted a low maintenance home. So I didn't want a house that they painted white on site and then I had to come back and paint it again in 10 years. So learning that difference, but learning the materials, really thinking about the layout of your home, how you're going to progress through this home, how you're going to feel when you have company. I mean, that's a big thing when people build a brand new house and you're building for $2 million and up, and now you've got people that just want to come over and walk through your house. How are you going to allow your company to come in? Where's your mud room? Are you going to have a no shoe policy in your house? So thinking about everything that you go through daily, even your kitchen layout, how it's going to be designed. Are you going to have a triangle scheme with your appliances is super important so that you don't end up spending 3 more months on your already long project because you're constantly doing change orders of things that you never took into consideration.
Well, there you have it, folks. You got to hear a real person who's experienced the build process. Although she didn't build with Fraser Homes, her next home is going to be a Fraser home for sure. And she has everything already buttoned up, so we don't have to go through the 6-month schematic phase.
Right.
And we can just get straight to it. Permits will be pulled in the next, couple of days, who knows.
Right.
So thank you all for watching another episode of The Difference, and again, don't forget to subscribe.